Try not to hit this mic. Good afternoon, everybody. It's Ray Gibson, and I'm going to end up uploading this to a couple of my channels. So I'm going to skip the nickname that I typically use for my videos because one of my channels knows about the other and the other doesn't. And I have it that way for a reason. Sorry, I'm trying something out new here. If I don't figure out how to do it in a timely manner, because this is the first time I'm doing it. If I never manage to get a pretty cool background going on behind me, then you're going to see a green screen. Otherwise, I will figure out how to combine the background with a video. I've never used iMovie before, so this will be interesting. Anyway, it's Thursday. I don't know the exact date. It's probably the 19th. And it's the middle of the afternoon, so this is not my typical time to be making videos. If you like the content of my videos, go ahead and click the subscribe button, which is down over here. And if you do click that, you'll have to, press your finger until you see all. And that way you'll get all notifications when I upload a video. Since I don't do them that often anymore, there may come a time when I pick the pace back up. But for now, it'll be worth your while to click on that all so that you'll know when I upload a video. Got a lot of excitement going on right now. I'm getting ready to leave town briefly. In case you didn't know, my father is Bob Gibson, retired Hall of Fame baseball pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. And this weekend, they will be honoring my father as well as Lou Brock in the stadium, and Lou Brock on Friday and my father on Sunday. I just found out a few days ago that it won't be televised, but they'll be doing a video recording, and they will give it to us sometime after the game. And then they'll be playing the Pittsburgh Pirates, and it took me quite a bit to end up on the field during this event, and a whole bunch of miracles that actually made it all happen. I was not going to go for a multitude of reasons. I was not going to show up at that event, but now that I am, I'm a bundle of nerves right now, because the last time I was anywhere near the stadiums or in kind of commemoration to my father, I was not a transgender man, at least not to my knowledge at the time. I knew something was going on when I was a boy, when I was 6 years old, but I just had no vocabulary for what was going on with me at the time, and I did not have that vocabulary until I saw Chaz Bono on Dancing with the Stars, and then I did a double, triple, quadruple take when I first saw him, and was like, what? I could not believe my ears when I saw him on that show. I had no awareness that there were transgender men on the planet. I knew there were women that dressed like women, but I thought they were cross-dressers, drag queens, and transvestites. I had no conscious awareness that they were women. I didn't have a word for that either until I saw Chaz Bono, and I started doing a blitz on the internet to find out what it was all about. And once I knew that's what I was, I ran from it. I ran from it for 3 years. I moved to the state I live in now from Texas, and then just proceeded to not want to be transgender at all. I told my therapist, you know what? She kept trying to ask me. I told her when I first came here, and I don't know why I told her, because I wasn't ready to talk about it. But I told her, and she was very excited. And I'm looking at her like, oh no, I just cast a death sentence on myself, and you're excited? Typical, because she's not transgender. What did she know about it? And I knew at the time. Now I know why I was afraid back then. I didn't know exactly why. I just knew, oh no. I looked around the country and how they were treating them, because I had been watching it. Okay, all along I had been watching all the activity around the country towards transgender people, and I thought, no. I can't be something that everybody hates, even more than they hated the LGB. I did not want anything to do with that. She was smiling, I was frowning. And then about every 3 months, 3 to 6 months, she would ask me, let's talk about it. And I'd say, no, let's not talk about it. So I refused to talk about it until I came to terms with it and started to embrace it. That is when I told her, okay, we can talk about this. And it took about 3 years for that to happen. 4 years for that to happen. Yep. 2011 till 2015. And I actually started embracing it a little bit in 2014, and then but I got scared for some reason. I got scared. I had my PCP at the VA. I'm also a veteran of the United States Air Force. And I told my PCP I thought I was a man. And she said, oh, okay. And she just hooked me up straight through to an endocrinology doctor. And I chickened out of the appointment. I couldn't do it. And that was 2014. And it took another year before I could embrace it fully. And I can't even really tell you when that happened or why that happened. I know I was talking to a young lady in Africa, and I figured, well, she's not here to cause any trouble for me, so it was safe for me to tell her. And when I told her, she was like, okay, and she had no reaction to it. And I thought, wow, that was unexpected. And the next person I told was a lady that I actually dated in the United States. I never met that woman from Africa, but the one that I met in the United States, when I told her, she didn't have a reaction either, although she was reacting inside, because, you know, whenever she got mad at me, she'd misgender me, which is the worst thing. You can pull that sexist crap on transgender men, or really transgender women. But I'm going to keep it to my wheelhouse, which is my experiences as a transgender man. And so let me back up to what I was saying about this Sunday. So I'm going to be out there with double-digit thousands of people's eyes on us, on my family, on my nuclear family, and other people that were invited to the event. But I wasn't invited initially, which is why I ended up in a tailspin about it, because I could not believe I was going to be bypassed again. It's the Hall of Fame weekend for the Cardinals, and I was not told about his Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And I was in my 20s, early 20s, I think, when that happened. Somewhere around there. I'm sorry, I didn't have it mapped it out. But I wasn't invited to that, and it really hurt me, and I couldn't believe that there was a potential of that happening again. So I ended up in such a state that I ended up calling the VA hotline. and I talked to a man named Jay. Jay talked to me for an hour and a half, got me calmed down enough to put a hint in my ear to talk to the Cardinals about the event. You know, bypass all the other nonsense going on with my family and just go straight to them. Because they told me when that article got published where I did come out as Bob Gibson's transgender son, they told me they would call me if they were going to do anything in 2021. But they didn't. I ended up calling them. I ended up becoming a pest. I ended up doing all sorts of things that I did not know I was capable of doing because I was so hurt that I was just like, fuck it, I'm not going. But one thing led to another. God performed a few miracles, including my family having my back on this. And I'm talking about the family that was there during my father's rise to fame. They rallied, a couple of them rallied behind me, and then a couple of other miracles happened that I was actually able to travel there. And then in the end, I got the Cardinals to put me and my cousin up in a hotel, and I will be showing up for the first time in public, as a transgender man. So this is I'm excited, I'm anxious, I'm nervous, I'm happy, I'm sad. It could be very emotional for me, being out there for the first time since my father passed, and as a transgender man. I don't typically use the whole term transgender because I'm real annoyed at our community right now with all this inclusive business and putting people in under that umbrella that don't belong under that umbrella. Just because you're different doesn't mean you belong under the trans umbrella. There's something else going on that probably needs its own letter, and God forbid we keep adding letters to the LGBTQ. I heard they're up to 50. 50. It's like, what are we doing? What is the possible, what? Yeah, anything that's different ends up thrown under there. And you know what? Cisgender, heterosexual, straight males have been trying to get pedophiles thrown under that umbrella. The LGBTQ. I think they want to be the P, even though P stands for pansexual. It almost got bumped out by pedophiles. But that was disgusting, because they already equate us to them scummy ass people. Even gay men and lesbians, gay men, they equate to that nasty practice of having sex with children, which is bullshit. They just want to smear, religious people want to smear that every chance they get and make it a moral issue instead of just an issue, just something that happens in society. Some people are gay, some people are straight, some people are bisexual, some people are transgender, some people... It should be as normal as apple pie now, but it isn't. By the way, did I already talk about the subscription button over there? Probably did. And sometimes I put videos and they pop up over here if you're not using a television. I don't know if I'll put one in here unless it's of my dad pitching or whatever. Oh, the event on Sunday, the honoring that's going to happen before the game is not going to be televised. I told people that it would, but they're going to give us a video of it. So there will be cameras in the area. I don't know if reporters will seek me out or find me. I have no idea. Because this is new. We're not anywhere near professional sports because of all the hysteria around transgender women competing against cisgender women. Now, cisgender men aren't worried about trans men competing with them because we have the wrong body. We are no threat. We can't even really compete because we don't have the same, everything of a biological born male is different than a biologically born female. Their hand strength, their lung capacity, their feet size, their arm size, their muscular skeleton size, their height, their weight. I mean, the same person, we'll say cisgender man, intersex man, transgender man. Same weight, same height, and everything. A cisgender man is going to be stronger. And that is the concern around having transgender women compete against cisgender women. It really is not fair because they are going to be stronger. And I don't care how much HRT they're on. They're going to be stronger because they're going to train like athletes. They're not just going to show up in sports, not work out, not do the training that is necessary for you to win in sports. They do that, and their body is going to snap right back to, biologically born males. So there's something we need to do about it, but it's not to try to have an unfair advantage, complete unfair advantage, with cisgender people who started those sports and are in charge of those sports. Anyway, I didn't want to really get into that, but just the fact that I'm going to be there with a lot of people who are going to probably be very confused at first, especially when they announce my name. They're going to go, wait a minute. Bob Gibson didn't have anybody that was named Ray. It's going to be a lot of clicking mentally going on with people, fans in the stands, and then when they do figure it out, there may be some people that are upset and offended and whatever. I'm not there to get publicity for being a transgender man. If that happens, it happens. I'm there to put closure on a life that I loved, that I hated, that I adored. I was there. I'm the last living direct offspring of that man who was there during his rise to fame. My mom's gone, my sister's gone, my father's gone. And that makes me... I've had to process a lot in the last year. Truly a lot. And around this issue, around the fact that my father acknowledged who I was on his deathbed when it was too late for us to have a different kind of relationship with each other. Because you know what? I wanted that. I'd been wanting that since I was a little child. Since I was 6. I kept thinking, I'm the son he doesn't know he has. I had that thought when I was that young. But there was really nothing I could do about it. I didn't have a word for what was going on with me. And now I get to touch that life that I grew up inside of one last time. I doubt they'll do anything for him like this again. So this will be the last time they'll honor him. I hear his name all the time on TV, but that's different than them having a day where, they're going to pass out t-shirts with his name, his signature written on them, and his jersey number 45. Why do you have to have 45, right? You know who else was 45, right? Yeah. I use 45 in some of my names and things that I write, which is kind of funny because there was a woman that, an evangelistic woman that I could not stand in the 1970s who had a name that's one of my names, and I hated my name for that reason. So in a similar fashion, the number 45 has two meanings to me. You know, it not only does it mean my dad's jersey number, but it also means the worst freaking president these United States has had in my lifetime. I have never seen such a train wreck as that guy. And then he woke up a bunch of other train wrecks in this country. And oh my God, just what is going on in the United States right now? We're at another turning point, folks. Not the 1960s, but similar to the 1960s, because everything that's going on right now is Jim Crowish. If you don't know what Jim Crow is, look it up. Maybe I'll, throw a link up over here somewhere or put it down in the description. What Jim Crow is, if you're too young to even know, or, too young to know what it is, you're not going to be able to remember it because you weren't born yet. But those of us who experienced that, and I was raised partially through that era, are probably in shock that here they come again, afraid of everything to do with the excellence and excelling in this country. The police are on us, citizens are on us, and then we got to deal with all the other aspects that systemic racism is a part of in this country, which there's not one area of life in this country that is not touched by that word and that practice against us. And then white people are all in hysteria, want to act like it doesn't exist anymore. Well, no, it doesn't exist for them because they're not experiencing it. They're doling it out. They have nothing to say about racism that we don't already know. So they're gaslighting the hell out of us when we try to talk to them about it, or if we even bark at them about it, or whatever we want to say about it. They think they know more, which is asinine. Absolutely asinine that they think they know more. How are they going to know more when they don't experience it? Yeah, they know how they're doling it out, but they're not talking about that. They're not even copying to being racist. They're running from that word. They're running from everything that has to do with how they are implementing racism in the United States. They're full of shit. They're hypocritical. And we are going backwards. Trump has put us in that era. He unleashed the beast. And the beast was all these idiots that think that racism, we're in a post-racist era. And black people are looking around like, where? Where have we ever been post-racist? We're still dealing with it on a regular basis. Just turn on the fucking TV, folks. I'll tell you that racism is not dead. It's dead to you because you don't want to own up to what you and your ancestors have done and continue to do by maintaining it and not fighting it. White people created racism. White people have to get rid of racism. We have been trying to get, they just ignore us like they always have. They ignore our pain like they always have. They ignore our angst, our experiences, our everything that we go through. They are trying to ignore it because they don't experience it. And they figure if they don't experience it, they don't have to acknowledge it exists, let alone they're part of the problem. Every white person in America is born into privilege. Sorry, it's the way it is. I don't care if you're poor, rich, or middle class, somewhere in between. You are born with privilege. You will never have to experience what we experience all of our lives. This is not discrimination. It's racism. So we deal with discrimination and racism. And if we're transgender, we deal with discrimination, racism, and sexism. So, look, I don't know what to say anymore about that than people knock it off and stop playing games. You're doing a mental, I don't know what you're doing in your minds to convince yourselves that you don't have to do shit about what's going on in this country. There's going to come a point in time where you're going to have to choose to do something because things are coming to a head. And I would not be surprised if another civil war breaks out. And it's not going to be us again. It's going to be white people fighting white people. It's going to be the North versus South. That's what it's coming to again. And we will be peripheral damage. You know, we'll end up in the military and fighting it or whatever, but we're not going to be the reason. Yeah, we are going to be the reason again, just like at the end of slavery. We're going to be the reason why it starts, but we're not going to be the ones to start it. The white folks own the military. They own the laws. They own politicians. They own businesses. They own judges. They own everything that's going to blow up because they will not stop the nonsense. So anyway, another thing's going to happen the end of this year is I'm finally scheduling my top surgery. Oh my God, that's been a long time coming. And I've had to make a tough decision in order to pull that off. I can't, you know, President Biden signed an executive order that transgender veterans will be eligible for top surgery. I'm sorry, for gender confirmation surgery, GCS. He signed that order this year. It's going to take them 2 years to put it together. I can't wait another 2 years. I'm 63 fucking years old. I don't want to wait until I'm 65 to begin, because I've needed this since 2017. And I've applied to scholarship programs every year. I've tried the GoFundMe thing. The GoFundMe thing only works for white folks. and some very, very critical issues going on out there in the world, but they don't consider what we're going through critical enough to donate enough funds to pay for our top surgery. Because it's about, on average, from $6,500 to 10 grand, depending on the surgeon and where you go and all that stuff. Some people are able to leave the country and have them done much cheaper elsewhere, but I'm not going to be one of those people. I've been needing this for a long time, so I have to shut down my business to do it. I didn't want to do that. At the same time, it's real clear to me that the powers to be are going to continue censoring me and making it impossible for me to run my business on a platform that won't allow me to have an account. So I can't run it through other people, because I just wasn't that far enough along that those other people are thoroughly trained to be able to carry on what I was doing. Yeah, TMBLM Incorporated. So I'm going to close its doors, and I will be able to pick it back up again with a lot of lessons learned, and the way that I will structure putting that thing back together will be different. Of course, Fucker Book, that's what I call the place, it's got its fingers, is trying to do a global domination thing while censoring people. Really? Fuck Zuckerberg. Fuckerberg, I call him too. Fuckerberg that owns Fuckerbook. That guy he's as delusional as any white man on the planet. Him and all those other ones that are trying to get off the planet, going up in space and shit when there's people dying of hunger here. You know, the wealthy are so out of touch with what's going on for the average man and woman and other in America that they just don't give a shit. You know, who is that one that went up there recently? Anyway, names are not, I don't care about famous people. I grew up with them, and they were just people to me. Half the time I didn't know their name, they didn't know my name. Yeah, and I have a problem with names too. It's just this mental block that I have from being exposed to so many people in my childhood. I was exposed to thousands of people. And so anyway, yeah, I got all these rich people that are don't know what else to do with their money, so they want to travel to outer space. Yeah, well, we're going to be up there with you when you make the final move to try to get off this planet. There going to be some black folks in there. Watch. We got some pretty rich black folks here, too, that I think, given the right opportunities, they will back us creating black Wall Streets all over the United States. But the government has to get the fuck up off us. Laws have to be changed. And we need reparations in order to begin. Even if it comes in the form of land. Even if they give us a city. Even if they give us a state. Just anything to get away and out from under the thumb of racism. Black Wall Streets worked really well, and then what did they do? They got jealous and burnt them to the ground. They did anything to start shit to justify getting rid of those communities. In Atlanta, in New York, in Florida, in Oklahoma, in somewhere in the Midwest. They just could not handle us doing better than them, so they wipe us out. And the laws have always seen leniency on them for doing whatever the hell they want to do when it comes to black people in America. The Constitution and none of that stuff was made to protect us. We need to be a protected class in this country, but we're not. And the 14th Amendment. Oh, did you guys see the Netflix series called Amend? Wow. What a history lesson about the 14th Amendment and how white people are only interested in the amendments to the Constitution that they like. They are not telling anybody about the 14th Amendment, which is the amendment that would give us equality. That's the amendment that they talk about equality and equality for all people. And Thurgood Marshall was the Supreme Court justice that was pushing for that. And he never, we got it, but the implementation of it, they got everybody distracted looking at what they wanted to pay attention to, which is the Second Amendment, the First Amendment. We don't get freedom of speech and we don't get right to arms. Shoot, look what happened to the NFAC. Now, part of that was the guy that ran the NFAC was kind of fucked up. But also, white folks got scared that they saw a whole bunch of black people armed to the teeth and took him out. So that's what happens when we try to get our hands on weapons and guns and stuff like that. So people have taken to making their own. Okay, fine. They want to. We can't show up at the gun shop and buy a bunch of weapons like white people can. Yeah, they would be calling the law on us and everything and anything else. So people have taken to making their own guns if they're capable of doing that, if they know how to do that. So there is just so much going on, and I'm so behind that I'm trying to talk about everything at the one time. But I apologize for that. The fact that I have not been on a lot recently because I've been going through it, folks. I have been emotional drain. I mean, look at these bags under my eyes. I bet you a year ago these things weren't here because I haven't slept good since I came back from burying my father, and a VA psychiatrist two of them took me off of my sleep medication. And here we go again with them trying to find substitutes. And I told them, look, I'm not a dog. My body is not a pharmacy for you to try this, try that, try this. I'm not going to do that. I had something that worked. Y'all mess with what worked. Everybody knows you don't mess with what works. But these ladies got on a power trip about me. And because I didn't want them to, and they wanted to show me, well, we can do whatever we want. When you're a veteran of the United States and your health care is the VA, you can't even sue them easily. They'll tie your shit up in court for years because we have to go through an extra step to declare malpractice on doctors of the VA. So, yeah, we got to go through this thing called a tort reform, which throws it back into the government's hands, and they'll just tie it up in court. So, meanwhile, you need help. There is no help. There is no advocacy for veterans who are being discriminated against by the VA. There is just nobody home. They run from it. Run, especially if the discrimination is based on race or based on your transgender status. They're not supposed to be doing either of those things. So they cover their ass. And they know that they can get away with it for a period of time if you fight it, if you advocate for yourself. Now, how am I going to advocate for myself when I need care? I need sleep. And my sleep pattern is so screwed up. I mean, I can't even tell you how screwed up it is. So I either don't get sleep or I get too much sleep, or I don't get sleep or I get too much sleep, and I don't get sleep, I get too much sleep, and it's just been like that since I lost my dad. So anyway, I've rattled on long enough. People don't stick with these videos when I make them over 30 minutes, but who cares? I'm just saying as much as I can in the time allotted that I make these videos, because I don't do it regularly. I write more often now than I make videos. I write on Medium, and I'm just as feisty on Medium as I am in my videos as I am in person. The reason why I'm making this video at this time in the afternoon is that I just, for the third or fourth time, I can't remember which, probably third time, got to do another diversity training for VA interns. I have a doctor, two doctors, mental health doctors that are in my corner 100%. And they love it when I talk to the interns, because I turn their training into an experience that they've never had. At least that's what I'm told after the fact, after each one that I do them. And I'm welcome back anytime they have the diversity training for their interns. And I put it to them straight, what it's like to be a black transgender man in America with 3 Ks. Yeah, I'm real honest. Well, I don't know how to be anything other than honest. For me to try to hide things and be dishonest, that has always been difficult for me. My parents, well, they can't attest to it now, but they can attest to how I could not lie. Now, my sister could lie with a straight face. They would never know, but I could not lie. Something about me would tell on me. So I would either say nothing, or I'd say something and get caught, because I'm too expressive is what it is. And so maybe my eyes are darting around, or I don't know what they was looking at, but they could tell I was lying. Anyway, I'm real open and forthcoming and honest, and I don't cut around any corners. I don't think about their feelings. I'm not there to do that. I'm there to educate. I'm there to tell them what it's like to be a black transgender veteran, and they love it. They love it every time I come on there, so that's why I keep doing it. If I'm having a bad day, I would love it if I got to do that, because that brings me out of myself and into helping others. Each one of those interns, wherever they go in the United States, are going to have something to think about it when they run across a trans veteran. So that's why I do it. Them white veterans trans veterans was kicking me out of groups when I was on Fuckerbook. They were kicking me out because what was it? Oh, I put a post in there one time of some racist shit in the Star Spangled Banner, which is actually, it was a poem before it was a song. And the third verse of that anthem, what turned into the anthem, was racist and talked about slaves. So why the hell are we, black people, singing that, standing up, putting our hand over our heart, when I know damn well that it is a racist song. They just don't ever say the third verse. But they kicked me out of the group for putting that in there. And then some vet jumped up and got mad. And then he thought he was going to pull rank on me. I said, motherfucker, please. We're not in the military anymore. I don't have to kiss your ass ever, at all. Go sit down somewhere. And one at a time they would jump up and try to say something to me. Slap, slap, slap. Okay. Oh, you want some of me? You know, and I was doing that, and they weren't coming to my aid. See, this is the same thing that happens in the police force when black people are in the police force. Is if you come out and advocate against something that they believe in, even if it's just in the right to brutalize us and murder us, you will get tossed on your ear and not supported. Nobody will come to your aid. They'll just sit and watch and see what happens to you. And this goes for being black, being trans, being LGBTQ+. It goes for all of those areas. If you are black, or what they say, POC, BIPOC, they'll just sit and watch you get brutalized by other people. If they're white, they will not confront them. They will not step to them for the most part and tell them knock it off. I've seen it happen a couple of times, but typically not, especially in the two trans veteran groups that I was in when I was there. I'm a radical activist, and there's nothing they could ever do to make me change that, because of when I was born, when I was raised, and what I've gone through in my life. Too old to play games, folks. So you all have a great weekend. Tomorrow's Friday, and be thinking about me. Unfortunately, if you tune into the game, you won't see me. Because the game starts at 1:15, and the ceremonies and stuff will begin to be on the move at 12:30. Unless they weren't telling me the truth. I thought about that. If you see Lou Brock's ceremony on Friday night, and you don't see Bob Gibson's family ceremony on Sunday, you know they pulled another funny little thing, because I'm going to be there. It's possible, but we shall see. I'm there to honor my father. I'm there to honor a life that I loved and was raised inside of, and to say goodbye to the ballpark, because I'm not the type that will get tickets just to go see a game. I'm not a fan type. I was seeing all that from the inside out, not the outside in. So you guys all have a great weekend, and Ray Gibson is